All right, it is time now once again for the Dawn and Eli take on the World Podcast. My name is Elias Melas, but you can call me Eli for short. And who is this wonderful, beautiful lady to my right that thinks I'm absolutely crazy for emphasizing World Podcast? Who are you?
Yes, I am your girlfriend, Dawn Ledgerwood, just not as long-winded as you.
Huh. Yes, you are my wonderful, amazing girlfriend. And I love you with all my heart.
I love you too.
Was that a great comeback?
Obviously.
Obviously. All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast. Today, we have one of the most important, critical, and crucial topics that we are going to discuss, and the timing is absolutely perfect. Episode number 39 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast is Get Your Health Insurance in Order Now for 2026. One more time, episode number 39 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast is Get Your Health Insurance in Order Now for 2026. But before we get to that, as always, I love to ask my wonderful, amazing, beautiful, sweet lady, how has the past week been here at our wonderful organization, the GNA, which is short for Genuine Networking Association, babe? How has the week gone?
The week's been great, once again. I just don't know if we're ever going to come here and say the week was shit, you know? But it was great. I know Eli's been working very hard. And I've been working very hard in the house, getting us more into the Christmas spirit. Yeah, and in fact, we went to the holiday gathering in downtown Redwood City. It was like a Santa Christmassy fair. They had food vendors. They had, the standard vendors where they sell, all of the stuff, T-shirts, random kids, like the little pop-up things, you see at the fair sometimes that light up. They had those for the little kids, which I thought was really cute.
Yeah.
And then, we found this little donut place, and
they make mini fresh donuts.
Yeah, in the vendor aisle, and you could choose your flavoring, and you got like 6 little donuts in that flavoring. So we decided to get 2 flavors, and Eli got caramel and I got blueberry.
Right.
So,
6 little tiny donuts for $12.
Yeah, but you know what?
Highly profitable. But hey, we're at an event where there are going to be vendors there. These are vendors that are coming in and probably paying $1,000 a day to have a vendor booth at a big event. So they've got to make up
profit somewhere.
Right. But they were good. They were damn good.
Well, and hot chocolate was $4.
Absolutely.
And it was awesome. It was perfect because it was like, what did you say?
48 degrees.
48 degrees. So hot chocolate hit the spots. And that booth was ran by a family. It was a husband and wife and their 2 sons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just thought, what a great family tradition that they do, helping the community, sharing their business, sharing who they are. I just thought it was great. It gave me those warm, fuzzy feelings. I went back because during this year, I'll carry candy canes on me. And so I went back and I gave the candy canes to the 4 family members and thanked them for all that they do, bringing cheer and happiness in this holiday season. That was hard to get out.
Yeah.
But, Christmas music was playing. They had a big
sleigh
band.
Bells ring.
Yeah, they had a huge band there, right?
Yeah.
It was really nice. A good setup, lots of lights, and tons of kids running around. So it was fun.
Were we walking in a winter wonderland, baby? Or it's not cold
Well,
enough here in
yeah, it
California
wasn't
for that. We don't get
quite
snow
wintry.
here in this area of California, in the Bay Area, the San
Yeah,
Francisco
no
Bay Area. Where we live.
snow. Of course. It would have been cool if they had a snow machine.
Oh, that would have been nice.
That would have been cool. Yeah, and apparently earlier that afternoon they had a parade, but we got there after that. So maybe we can go out there and see that next year, or maybe
Right.
before they stop doing this. Let's see. Other than that, you could tell that was my highlight of the week.
That was the highlight of her week.
Yeah, well, I mean, because we went out, you took the day off. And
I didn't on the YouTube side of things, because we have this podcast on YouTube as the video version, and then we're audio only throughout the entire podcast network: Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, your favorite, which is iHeartRadio, Amazon's Audible, YouTube's Music, and all the rest of the unknown. We have the video version on YouTube, and typically I'll go live almost every day on YouTube doing a Walking with Purpose stream. And I told my lady yesterday I'm taking the day off. We actually record these shows, just to make it clear again, on Sundays, typically Sundays, unless something comes up. Sunday, December 14th, which is when this is being recorded, and it will be released on Wednesday, December 17th, baby, which is my 52nd birthday.
Yeah,
I'm getting old. That's another, I don't know if I want to call it a highlight of this show, maybe a low light.
Sweetheart, it is a blessing to have another birthday with you.
Yeah.
And I look forward to another year with you.
Absolutely.
Celebrating life every day.
Absolutely. There's nothing better than celebrating life. And we did that,
we did that a lot this year.
This week we were at the, Christmas festivities downtown yesterday, as of the day of this recording. And, it's been a heck of a year. We're probably going to do, on next week's show, we're probably going to do a year-end review of things. And I'm hoping we can get at least one or two of our G&A executives. I'm going to see if I can get Tia and ODN. I know Sandra has been recovering from an illness. She's doing a lot better. We're not going to go into any more specifics, but I'm going to see if I can get ODN and Tia, two of our G&A executives. And ODN's our latest executive. We haven't created an official title for him, but he is on the executive team, and I think that would be a great way to wrap up the year, because that show is going to be recorded on the 21st, and it will be released on Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 24th. So how does that sound, babe?
Wow, sounds great.
Yeah. But besides that.
And just lots of, like you spoke of your birthday, but lots of birthdays for me this month. My sister-in-law in the early part of the month, and then my brother, and then my other brother, and then Eli, and then one of my nieces. So it's a heavy, heavy birthday month for us.
Absolutely.
Used to be expensive, but not anymore. We don't do birthday gifts. The kids are older, and they just
it's just another day, baby.
They're just like, give me money. That's all the kids want.
When you get to a certain age, it's just another day, and you're happy to be alive and still breathing air and still kicking, right?
And they have graduated from actually wanting gifts to now just wanting gift cards. So it's like, what's the point? Just go out and buy.
They just want some form of money, which is
money
all
and their own independence to buy
digital or
it.
Plastic nowadays. Just give me a gift card and I can
and
get whatever the hell I want, right?
And they want the independence to buy exactly what they want.
Absolutely. We all wanted that too in our younger days. We just didn't have the options
we got
they
socks.
have nowadays.
Yeah, we got socks and pajamas.
I used to hate getting clothing like socks and pajamas, but nowadays it's like, oh my gosh, I understand how expensive clothing is. Unless you get them on, good deals, good discounts like I do. But yeah, it's amazing how much we value the things as we get older that we didn't value while we were younger, right, babe?
Oh, I love PJs. I love buying pajamas. cozy,
Your jammies?
comfy, fuzzy, warm jammies. Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else that you want to talk about? Besides that, the week's been pretty great at the GNA.
Yeah. Am I missing anything that we?
No.
I don't think
I mean,
so.
Here's the truth of the matter. We're not going to get into this. There's a lot of drama, especially on the YouTube streets, and we're not going to get into that. It's not necessary. It's just the same old. But there'll be a time and a place to discuss that. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit next week if we can get ODN and Tia to pop on. I'm sure they're going to have a lot to say. But when we discuss drama here, we're not doing it to create drama or to contribute to the drama. We're doing it because we're trying to defuse it. And we're just identifying how many people on the internet nowadays, behave or misbehave because they are just miserable people, and they have to find their happiness by trying to make up a lot of things about other people that they target as their content, and that creates their false sense of identity. But anyway, we're not going to get into that today. So yeah, I mean, that's why it feels like, it's been a simple week because there is drama. There's always going to be drama, but we don't always have to talk about it because it's not us creating it. It's other people that are trying to, enthrall us or get us involved in their drama. And we're just kind of like quietly laughing behind the scenes.
Yeah. And honestly, the only drama we get ourselves involved in the week is watching our drama shows at night.
Like Law and Order, SVU, which they're on hiatus now. But
even the
series.
Documentaries, like we're rewatching The Staircase. Well, I've seen it. He hasn't.
Yeah.
So we're watching the original documentary first, so he kind of has an idea. And then we're going to watch the newly released one on Netflix, which is a docu-series.
Awesome. Wonderful. All right. So you ready to get right to it, baby? Because we're going to do a short show this week. It's only going to be about an hour and 20 to an hour and 30 minutes long. Because we want to get to the point, because this topic is one of the most critical topics, not only here in the U.S. I'm going to be basing what I'm talking about here today from the U.S. because we live in the U.S., but this, is important all over the world. And that is, health insurance. And again, the topic today is get your health insurance in order now for 2026. Now, before I ask you some questions, babe, regarding how important it's been for you to have insurance, especially over the last 4 years since I've known you, and what it would have cost us, if we didn't have insurance. Holy Moses, right?
Yes.
So, this is going to be released on December 17th, 2025. Open enrollment typically opens here in the U.S. November 1st and typically runs through January 31st in most states. Some are a little bit shorter. Each state has some different regulations. The healthcare system is typically run by the states. There are federal subsidies for certain programs like the infamous Obamacare that the Trump administration has been hating on, and we're going to share our opinions regarding that because it's absolutely ridiculous. What they're saying about the Affordable Care Act that was created by Obama, and a lot of people. It's interesting to me. We have a wonderful friend by the name of GLM. She's half Caucasian and half African American, and she despises Obama.
Yeah,
and that's quite interesting to me. You would figure, the African American race would be proud that Obama was the first African American president. I actually respect Obama to the fullest, even to this day. Him and his wife, Michelle, are two of the most down-to-earth, most reasonable, most caring and thoughtful people in our government that we've ever seen, in my opinion. Don't you think?
I agree.
I mean, in our opinion.
100.
But
100.
people are criticizing Obamacare, and they don't realize that without Obamacare, there would be a lot of people that would be uninsured and could not afford insurance.
Yeah, and I am one of them. And we will go back with my story about that as we further get in.
Yeah, and we don't have to go into detail about our policies and stuff like that.
No. I want to go over like when I first obtained the Covered California and why, or the Obamacare, and why I had to obtain it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's first start off by saying that, hey, insurance is absolutely necessary. If you don't have it, you got to find a way to get it, whatever you qualify for.
Yeah.
And typically here in the United States, how insurance works, if you are, 400%, I believe it's 400% or lower above the poverty line, okay? Or if you're 100% of the poverty line, between 100% of the poverty line and 400%, you qualify for either, what do you call it?
Medicare,
or you qualify for Obamacare.
What I don't understand is for Medicare, I was reading that they like take into account every person's income in the house. And I don't understand how that...
Well, sorry, by correction, Medicare is for seniors. You're talking about Medicaid.
Yeah. I'm
Medicaid.
Sorry. I get those mixed up all the time.
There's Medi-Cal, which is our version of Medicaid here. Medicare is for seniors 65 plus, and then younger people with disabilities. And Medicare is a joint federal-state program for low-income individuals, families, and certain vulnerable groups. I've butchered that before. I've understood the difference. Just it gets confusing.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead.
No, we have actually a pamphlet that I think they gave in the hospital, just a standard one about Medicare, right? Which is the one they give the poor people.
Medicaid.
Medicaid.
Medicare is for seniors.
Okay. So I believe what I saw in there, if you're going to qualify for Medicaid, your household income has to be within a certain amount. So
right.
what I don't think is fair about that is it shouldn't include your, let's say our situation, your mother's income, your income, when I have zero income. And I don't think that it's like should be a part of the situation. I need the health care. You all don't. So it's like, don't take their income into accountability or,
Okay. Yeah. And we don't have to get into our own personal stories.
I'm just using it as a,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a hypothetical.
Right. So let's give the basic facts here. So every state's a little bit different. But typically, if you make, 0 to 120% of the federal poverty line, you qualify for Medicaid. And here in California, it's Medi-Cal, right? Now, in some other states, you might qualify. Then you qualify for the Obamacare, the ACA credits through the Affordable Care Act. It starts at 120% of the federal poverty level, and it goes all the way up to 400%. And I figured out the math. This is approximate, so don't quote me exactly. But in order to, let's take California, for example. Each state runs it pretty close to the same, but the percentages of the federal poverty level might be a little bit different. But we're going to use California as an example because that's where we live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically 0 to 120%, you qualify for Medicaid, through your state. Here it's called Medi-Cal. from 120% of the federal poverty line through 400%, you qualify for Obamacare, which is also known as the Affordable Care Act, ACA, right? And I figured out the income for that is roughly around 22,000 to 60,000. Let's just take a single person living on their own. Okay. Now, yes, if you live with other family members, household members, yes, it is done combined. But let's just take the single person living on their own, and let's say that they're either working a retail job or working for somebody else, like you were, and they're making anywhere between $22,000 and $60,000, right?
Yes.
So what happens is, the less you make, the more federal tax credits you get to offset your healthcare premiums. Mm-hmm. So somebody that's making $22,000 through Obamacare coverage, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, is going to get the maximum amount of federal tax credits applied towards their monthly premium of whatever plan they choose. Someone that's at the highest end of the spectrum, 400% of the federal poverty level, let's say they're making 60 grand, they're going to have the lowest amount of federal tax credits. So, the less you make, the more credits you get, the lower your premium is going to be. And in some cases, some plans are going to have no premium after the federal tax credits apply. Now, the plans that have the higher premiums, even with the tax credits applied, are going to, be better plans. They're going to have lower coinsurance and lower co-pays, which is, coinsurance and stuff. Coinsurance is basically the difference of, what the insurance company covers, and then you pay the rest out of pocket. When you go to the doctor, you pay a copay. That's coinsurance. When you go to, we go to CVS to pay for your prescriptions, that's a copay, coinsurance, right? And each policy has, different copays. Some are done by percentage for certain, doctor visits or for surgeries, major, healthcare needs. Others, like prescriptions, are done, okay, it's $5 flat rate for most prescriptions. Some other prescriptions might be $10, blah, blah, blah. And then every policy has what's called an out-of-pocket maximum. And once you reach that out-of-pocket maximum, the insurance company will then cover 100% of everything that is covered within your plan. So, they're not going to cover 100% of whatever the hell you feel like getting medical care on. It has to be something that's covered. And if it's something that typically wouldn't be covered, you need your doctor to get approval and say it is medically necessary. And we've had to do that with you many times. Because if something is medically necessary, pretty much it's saying that your health and life depend on it pretty much, right?
My question always to them, why would it not be medically necessary if my doctor ordered it?
Well, they want to just make sure that, people are not abusing, insurance when they don't need it. So,
like charging me for an MRI when I got a X-ray. Like putting in different billing codes?
It's a game that the insurance companies play. And for the most part, they're going to approve things that are medically necessary. But they go through the process because the longer it takes to approve the claim, the longer the insurance company can reinvest the money and offset anything it's going to cost them. And that's part of the game insurance companies legally get away with. But so, so basically, the Affordable Care Act has filled in a gap for, lower income individuals that are either self-employed and working for themselves, or somebody like you were working, as a manager at a retail establishment, and you were offered health insurance through your company, but it cost more. Payroll
like my
through
paycheck
payroll.
would be like a third of what it was.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that your payroll deduction would have been more than by going through Covered California here. The Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, here in California is called Covered California. So it was much cheaper for you because at that point, actually, before the prices started to go up through the carriers, it was $0, and then it went up to $8, and then it went up to $100 and something, and now it's going to go up a bit more because of what's happening in Congress. These extended tax credits. There are the regular federal tax credits that still apply. But back during COVID, Congress approved extended tax credits that further helped offset the cost and kept insurance premiums down.
Mm-hmm.
But since Trump came into office, Trump and the Republicans have been completely against it. They've been against Obamacare. They want it changed. They want it changed because what Trump is saying is that why are we going to continue to keep making the insurance companies rich and keep giving them money? Why not just give people a healthcare savings account, I believe is what he called it, and give them like $80 a month? What's that going to do? When the premiums of most policies are anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per month, and the subsidies through the Affordable Care Act subsidize like 90% of it, that makes it affordable. If you kill Obamacare, then basically what you're doing is you're giving people $80 a month, and then now they have to pay $1,500 or $1,000, whatever the policy costs, in premiums. How in the world are they going to afford that?
I don't know. I don't know many people who could.
Right, and I think the reason why Trump is the reason why I think Trump is against this is because these health and Trump is saying these healthcare companies are basically ripping us off. We need to get the healthcare companies to lower their premiums.
Yeah.
We need to do something. Trump needs to do something to better regulate and cap the premiums that the healthcare companies can charge. The reason why I think Trump is not doing it and is kind of trying to use Obamacare as a distraction is because a lot of these healthcare companies, they sponsor politicians to get into office like Trump. And so, it becomes a conflict of interest. And you can't call out the president on a conflict of interest, especially Donald Trump. He's the biggest conflict of interest on the planet. He's just going to brush it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a big game. And with the healthcare industry, nothing is going to change until Congress, the president and Congress, more so regulate and cap what insurance carriers can charge.
Mm-hmm.
We need to lower the full premium. Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, the policies are still the same that you would get in the regular market. The price is still the same as you would get in the regular market. All Obamacare does is subsidize the premiums, which takes federal tax credits, federal tax dollars, basically the tax dollars from the rich people and people that can afford to pay full price. It takes those tax dollars and gives the credits to people that can't afford it. That makes sense to me. What other better plan could we have than Obamacare? Again, we can try to regulate the insurance companies and get them to lower the premiums and change the regulations. Why isn't Trump And why isn't Trump and the Republicans focusing on that? They've kind of said, we need to, not Trump, people in Congress on the right, the Republicans have said, yeah, these premiums are too high. We need to get the premiums lower. Okay, that's the right answer. Then why aren't you doing something to get them lowered? Because those insurance companies got you in office. And in essence, you'd be cutting off your future funding supply, right? This is where the politics within our own politics, our own political system, our government, politics within politics, right?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Affordable Care Act is absolutely fantastic. It is necessary until something better comes around. There's no reason why the government, shouldn't keep subsidizing it through Obamacare. And there's no reason why they shouldn't have extended those federal tax credits. You want to mention anything else? Because I have an NBC News article here that was written just 3 days ago regarding the subsidies that were voted by the Senate. And if people don't know what happened, I'll share that in a second. But is there anything else that you want to mention?
Well, I don't know if you're going to let me get into the fact of why I needed Obamacare and how.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that now, and then we'll get into that article. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So I actually got Obamacare in 2014. I wasn't working a regular job at one place. I was called I would say a floater, or can't remember the company, but what it did basically was, if there was a need for an extra nurse because they were short, didn't have the staff, I would go to that hospital and I'd fill in as a nurse. But that was a very, very unpredictable income because you're going off of the needs of the hospitals. I went sometimes 2 weeks without working a single shift, and scary, but it happened.
Yeah.
So I could not predict my income for that year. I just based it off of the last year. And
that's why it's an estimate. Whenever you are, renewing or applying for Obamacare ACA credits, you estimate your income. And basically, as long as you don't make more than your estimate, then, the premium tax credits, you don't have to pay any of it back. But if you end up making more than your estimate, you have to pay the difference back when you file your taxes.
So a good key is to
the next year
to have a higher one, right? So that you don't go over it. Is that what you're saying?
The key is to try to estimate your income as best as possible. And if you're under, then it's not going to matter, because if you make less, then your credits will either be more that come back to you, or if you make a little bit more, then you're going to owe a little bit. So
yeah,
just you estimate as close as possible.
Yeah, and so that's what I did, and I estimated about 40,000, and so I got approved. And since then, I've had the Obamacare. But when I first started, it was like $0 a month. And then when the year before we started dating, it went up to $8. And I'm like, dude, my health insurance is hits, And then a year after, it went up to the current price we have, which I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
And then,
well, it's fine. We can say that for example purposes. It went up to like $174, and this year it's going to be going up to $320 because of this. We're showing how these extended tax credits that are more than likely not going to be approved before the end of the year, unless some miracle happens, how they've affected the premiums for you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let's make it very clear. You have the absolute best coverage. Now, there are other options where even currently right now through Covered California, you can get, zero monthly premium policies, but those policies are not as good as your policy, and because it all depends on how much care you currently need. That's why healthcare is done, year by year, and you have to see, where you're at the end of the year and what you anticipate you're going to need. At the end of the day, any healthcare policy is going to cover you for emergencies, but it's more so for what you're going to need in the meantime. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have therapy services you need for your mental health. That without that, like
everything we've done would be erased.
No disrespect. You would flip out. You need that therapy.
I wouldn't handle just the thought of losing her.
You also still need, your regular doctor's visits. You also,
physical therapy.
You have seizure disorder. You got to check in with your, neurology doctor once or twice a year, right? You've got physical therapy for ongoing issues that are permanent, that you're dealing with. So if you're someone in Dawn's situation that's going to be using a lot of insurance, you have a lot of medical things every year, you need to get the better policy. And, in this case, we'll figure out a way to pay it. We're going to pay the $315 a month for your premiums, because, you absolutely need it. So that is that. But there are other options, even for you, but they wouldn't cover you at the level that you're being covered now. And plus, you wouldn't be able to be a part of the facility you're a part of and have the doctor you're a part of.
Yeah.
So you've got the absolute best care. You have to have this policy.
Somebody's making an appearance. No kisses.
Oh, Bochi's coming up.
Yeah. Ooh, do you want to say something?
Bochi?
No? Look at the camera. No. He is very camera shy. I have to be very, very sly if I'm going to take a picture. Like he has to be dead asleep, or I already have to have my phone in my hand. But he is so freaking smart. Even when I make an adjustment and like push it up, like I take a picture, he'll move his head. He'll get out of position and won't look as cute.
Yeah. So
anyways,
I think that pretty much.
Well, I just want to say back in 2014, when I did sign up for this, it was before I got very sick. And then I went into the hospital and everything was covered in the hospital. I came out of there pretty much not costing a thing. And I owe that to Obamacare. I mean, otherwise I'd still be paying for it. Right?
Either that or medical bills can bankrupt you.
Yeah. I mean, it was over $100,000 because I was there for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And here's the thing. This is what I've seen a lot of people talk about health insurance on YouTube. And this is something that people don't understand. A lot of people that have, these lower premium policies, they have a higher maximum out of pocket annually. So here's the thing, let's say, for example, you have one of these policies that your premium is very, very cheap per month, even through the Affordable Care Act, right? Or if you just get it on your own, or even if you get it through your employer, right? You have to look and see what your maximum out of pocket is, because some policies have like a $9,000 or $10,000 a year maximum out of pocket. Then these people, they end up being hospitalized for something. Let's say they didn't use their insurance. They go to the hospital, and let's say they're in the emergency room for 2 weeks, right?
Wow.
Let's say it costs $200,000. Let's say co-insurance. Let's say 80% is covered, right? So they're going to bill you the rest of the 20% of the copay of that $200,000 up to the maximum amount of your max out of pocket. So even if your co-insurance, your copay, let's say a 20% copay on $200,000, is going to be $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no one can afford to pay that. They're not going to charge you $40K. They're going to basically max out your $10,000 maximum out of pocket, and then they're going to cover the rest of that. But then guess what happens? The hospital bills you with a $10,000 bill because that's the part that the insurance company didn't cover. And that's what that I've seen people on YouTube get caught with their pants down and have these big hospital bills. I have insurance. Well, you didn't look into your insurance. Either that, or you basically chose to pay less and have a policy that is going to cost you more in the long run. So you're paying less now, but you're paying more in the long run. I think it's better to pay a little bit of a higher premium and get a lower max out of pocket and just have a better policy.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. Another thing, hospitals will allow you to do payment plans, most of them. You can even extend it out 24, even 36 months sometimes. So, if you have a $10,000, bill from the hospital, you can ask them to finance it, and typically they'll do it, interest free most of the time. You spread it out over 24, 36 months. You pay a few $100s a month or something, or sometimes it's maybe $150 a month or so. And then it gets paid off in 2 or 3 years, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe like 200 or 300. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you got to take all of that into consideration when you're deciding what type of health plan that you want. And by the way, I failed to mention this at the beginning of the show. I am still a licensed insurance agent / broker. I have not actively been selling for over 4 years, but I am licensed, and I'm about to renew my licenses again. They're expiring at the end of January. I got to get my continuing education done. But I do have a property and casualty license and a life and health insurance license, and I've been licensed for over 15 years. I have a lot of experience regarding insurance. So I just wanted to put that out there so people know that, hey, I do understand what I'm talking about. And listen, insurance can even be confusing, even for insurance agents that have been doing it for a while, because things change. And there's so much mumbo jumbo, especially with health insurance, right? And where do you get it? You get it through Obamacare, you get it through your employer, you buy it directly from the carrier, pay full price, right? There's just so much. Medicare, Medi-Cal, ACA credits, all this stuff. Tell me how confusing it sounds to you.
It's already like a jumble in my head.
I've already lost you.
You've lost me. But I do want to mention, I forgot to say this. After I came home from the hospital, I still was groggy and like kind of out of it. And so my parents were opening up all of my mail from the hospital and all of that stuff. And there was a remaining balance of $14,000, my dad said. And he went through everything and he got $7,000 taken down for us to owe. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And then somehow that $7,000 disappeared. I don't know if dad paid it and just let it go, or like if he got it down more.
So here's the thing. From what I've seen, I have never, ever seen any policy have a $14,000 maximum out of pocket. Now, I don't know. Maybe there was back then. Maybe there is now. From what I've seen and from what I've researched, typically, the highest max out of pocket on most health insurance policies is going to be around $10,000. So probably the hospital didn't see back in those days. Things were not as automated as they are today. You have to understand today, everything's 100% automated. So when you go to your health provider, unless you're at some older mom and pop shop that still does manual billing, some people have, manual billing even with current computers, or they're not linked into the whole entire network.
Yes, these are like old school doctors who have old school staff that have been doing it for years. So it's second nature for them just to stay that way.
Nowadays, with the programs they have online, all they do is take your insurance card, your provider, they put in your policy number, and their system automatically knows what your max out of pocket is, what your co-insurance is. So they know your co-pays. They know how much is remaining on your max out of pocket. So once you reach your max out of pocket, you no longer get charged a copay for your doctor's visits or when you go to CVS. They get notified you're at your max out of pocket. So, all of your, medications are covered 100%.
Yeah. And with Palo Alto on the
Palo Alto Medical Foundation,
yes, I'm sorry.
Sutter Health. You have to talk like people are brand new.
Yeah, I know. And Palo Alto is a city, so I understand that.
So through your healthcare organization that you get treated at, Palo Alto Medical Foundation, a part of the Sutter Health Network. Go ahead.
Yeah, their organization, like, as far as their people that work,
they're a nonprofit
in the office, like checking us in, and those are the people that collect the copays. Well, they don't have access to see that the copays have been, like, we're done with our coinsurance, and like we have no balance due. They don't have access to that screen. Every time I do easy check-in or easy arrival, it always pops up, are you going to pay this?
The thing is, when we go log in on our end,
it shows zero balance.
The access is there, but for the employees, I don't think they're allowed to give them that access. So they have to assume that, you have, a copay still.
Yes.
But here's the thing. One time, I remember you hit your max out of pocket a few years back, and then you still made a copay, and then they sent you a check and they refunded you in the mail. When that happened this year, you hit your max out of pocket after 2 months this year. And so when you hit your max out of pocket, they still wanted to charge you a copay. I made them aware that she's at her max out of pocket. I know it hasn't updated you yet, or you don't have access to that. But if you charge us for this now, all that's going to happen is, they're going to send a check back in the mail,
a paper check,
and let's just save the hassle, right? And then what happens is, they can go in and see if you owe any balances on your account with your healthcare provider, with your, meaning that your doctor's office can look at that. So if you have an outstanding balance of, $500 or $1,000, they can actually see that part. They're not going to take your word that you've hit your max out of pocket. But yeah, the bottom line is these systems nowadays are integrated. And so, it makes it very, very simple, to see what you owe, etc.
Yeah.
What else did you want to mention regarding that?
Not too much. I mean, I think you got through the rest of, how the policy went from so much to so much to so much. So, other than that, my coverage hasn't changed at all.
No, same policy number too.
Yeah. I mean, and so it was really, it's great. I mean, it's horrible. It's gone up to where it is, and they're fighting the Obamacare and federal tax credits. But it's still, it's good insurance. It really is. I mean, if you cannot go through your employer, or you cannot independently buy insurance, because self-employed people have to purchase their own insurance. And I'm not talking about when they get older and stuff like that. I'm talking, you're 30 years old, you start your construction business, you are paying all of those taxes all the time. And so you have to get your own health insurance. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
So very complex. So there's a lot of things you've got to take into account of where you're going to be getting the insurance from and how you're going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what else was I going to say? We have that article I want to go over and explain what's been going on, because the reason why I'm still bothered by how Congress is not handling this, the lack of the Democrats and Republicans not working together to take care of the people here in the U.S. that really need these credits, right?
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing. the majority of the people that have recently applied for Obamacare, the ACA credits, are in red states, are Republicans. So in essence, the Republican Congress members and the Republican Senate members, and also Donald Trump, who's, in my opinion, he's really not a Republican, but that's what he ran as. They're screwing over their own people. They're screwing over Democrats too, but they're screwing over their own people, which adds more insult to injury, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's get to this.
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, let me do my first potty break now before you get deep into article.
We're at 50 minutes. We're going to wrap this up in exactly 40 minutes. So
quick break.
Yeah, let me go ahead and hold on. Let me turn off the camera. All right, Dawn's going to step away for a quick break. And while she does that, I'm going to remind all of you that if you are listening to us on the audio-only podcast network, such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, my lady's favorite, iHeartRadio, we're also on Amazon's Audible and also on YouTube's Music, and also many other audio-only podcast sites that are not as well known or unknown. If you're listening to us audio only and you would like to watch the video version of the podcast, which is basically the same thing as the audio version with video, we actually rip the audio from the video that we record for the audio only version. You can go below in the description section again of wherever you're listening to this audio only. About halfway down, you'll see the link to the YouTube video. That'll take you, it'll redirect you to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. GNA is short for Genuine Networking Association, our personal development organization where we, help people better enhance their lives personally and professionally. We do a lot more, but that's a simple way to put it for right now. And, when you go over there, make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then after that, you can go in the description section of that video, because you can subscribe right from the video page on that main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. You go in that description section of that YouTube video, a couple lines down, you'll see the link to our secondary live streaming channel called GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where we go live, if not every day, almost every day, regularly. I do Walking with Purpose streams. Sometimes Don will join me on them. The Walking with Purpose streams they have a topic, but they're pretty informal. We answer questions in the chat as long as they're not trollish and they make sense. Sometimes Don and I will do an On the Couch with Don and Eli show from our couch. Sometimes we'll do a Driving with Purpose stream while we're driving. Sometimes we'll do an in-studio stream, which pretty much has a similar setup as we do in the podcast here. The video version of our podcast look very similar as our in-studio YouTube live streams that we've done in the past, and we'll do more again in the future. So you're going to want to make sure you subscribe to GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. While you're there, subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so that way you will not miss anything. So, yeah, that is that. I am just waiting for Dawn to pop back into the room, and she's taking a little bit longer than usual. I'm seeing her on the camera. There she is. There she is. The big dog's underneath on the mat. That's wonderful. You ready to come back?
Hi. Oh, oops, I'm sitting on my court.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Video's back on. Before we get to the article, what do you think about that first part that we talked about? What are your takeaways on that?
I think it's really good. We talked about more individual, how it affects the individual American and people all over the world. And so now that's a great segue into actually talking about what this is all about based on this article.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anything else? Are you ready to get to it?
Let's go.
All right. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the browser screen on the YouTube end of things. If you're listening audio only, you'll be able to just hear what I say. All right. So this is an article from NBC News regarding Congress. The title is Senate Rejects ACA Funding. ACA is Affordable Care Act. Senate rejects ACA funding and a Republican alternative with premiums set to spike. Two bills failed to secure the necessary 60 votes to break a filibuster and advance Thursday. Congress has no deal ahead of a December 31st deadline to avoid premium hikes under Obamacare. Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's for
right.
sure. Yeah. So let's scroll down here. This was written December 11th, 2025, very recently. Washington, the Republican-controlled Senate voted Thursday to reject health care bills offered by each party as the U.S. barrels towards a cliff with steep premium hikes for millions of Americans set to hit next month. And we've already talked about it, how it's, affecting us. The failed votes raise the likelihood that enhanced Obamacare subsidies passed in 2021 will expire at the end of this year and cause premiums to double on average for some 22 million Americans who benefit from that funding. Now, here in California, I believe it was Newsom passed something that I believe is going to give us like a $65 credit. I think it costs the state $190 million. So, we're getting some help from, from our state, but the extended ACA credits, I believe also had a stipulation that also cannot force you to pay more than 8% of the premium out of pocket. I believe that's what it was. I looked into it in the past. It's been a while. So not only were there going to be probably another $100+ in ACA credits through the enhanced subsidies, there are the regular subsidies that cover most of it. The enhanced ones were covering the difference. And also, basically, they weren't changing the premiums of the carrier. What happened was, I believe it limited the amount that anyone in the Obamacare program pays, a maximum of 8% of the actual premium. And so I think that is gone now. Don't quote me on that. I'm not going to look it up right now, but I believe that's what it was. So these enhanced subsidies are critical. Now, there are people that are fortunate, to be in a position like where Dawn and I are at. I've done okay. My family's done okay. We're going to find a way to pay for it. And
my family's done okay as well. So we also have their support.
Yeah, but not everyone has that option. Not everyone has the options that Dawn and I have. Yes, it's still going to hit us, but we are going to find a way to pay for it. Many people are going to be without insurance over this. And that's the sad part right there. What are your thoughts about that, babe?
Oh, it devastates me. There's so many people that need medical care and insurance to cover it. And my biggest fear now is people are just going to ignore their bodies and just get through whatever because they don't have the money to go to the doctor. And unfortunately, I think we're going to have more sick people and more deaths due to the health insurance being so expensive. If I had to use that money to pay my rent or get insurance, what is maybe a single person going to do? they're going to prioritize their living situation.
Right.
Because health insurance, you don't use it every day, you know? If you're relatively healthy, you probably won't use it but twice a year for your checkups.
Right. But you never know when you're going to need it.
You can be in a car accident tomorrow.
Let's hope not. But, I mean, you know, you never know. Neither bill achieved the 60 votes needed to advance, kicking the issue into the political arena. Democrats hope to use the issue to mobilize voters in the 2026 midterm elections if there is no outcome to prevent the cost increases. I'm telling you right now, Don and I are slightly left liberals. We're more down the middle, but we're more on the left. I'm telling you right now, if there's no solution to this before December 31st and everybody gets the extended ACA credit subsidies, including especially the people that voted for Trump, that are basically, the most the Republicans that voted for Trump. They're the ones that are using Obamacare more nowadays.
They're going to be affected the most.
Yeah, they're being affected the most, right? So what do you think they're going to do? Who do you think they're going to vote for during midterms? They're going to vote for people that are going to give them the credits and help them survive.
Yeah, but you know what?
Extremely necessary. Go ahead.
Even saying Democrats right there, that's wrong because we won that Democratic last vote and we still haven't passed these federal tax act.
No, you're talking about something else.
Oh,
You're talking about the Epstein files.
No. Before that, when all the Democrats voted or something and they won that part of the Senate or something. I don't know.
The Republicans control everything ever since Trump got into office.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's probably a long time ago.
It was when the Prop 50 was on the ballot. That's what I'm talking about. That voting day.
Oh, are you talking about the redistricting?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was over redistricting. That did pass.
Yes. So it's just not in direct relation to this, but I do remember
this is a state thing, and you're talking about a state issue.
Yeah.
And California is primarily blue.
Yeah.
So obviously, and you have Gavin Newsom, who's blue.
Bluer than a Smurf.
Yeah, but Newsom cares. See, here's the thing. The funny thing is, a lot of blue people really care about the red people too. Like,
they care about
the overall aspect.
For
everyone. The best overall aspect for everyone. Go ahead.
Yeah, they don't try to segregate it between parties.
Right.
They want the benefit to affect all Americans.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what Obama was all about.
Yeah, shall we?
Shall we? Yes, we shall.
Okay. The Republican plan is a when you get sick, you go broke plan. Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said Thursday on the Senate floor. I like Chuck. I mean, he's right. He's right.
Absolutely right.
Go broke so Trump and his oligarchs can get richer, right? I mean, that's what it all boils down to. Let's see. The bill offered by Democrats on Thursday would have extended the Enhanced Affordable Care Act funds for another 3 years. The legislation failed by a vote of 51 to 48. Wow, that was close.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. With Senator Susan Collins, Republican Maine, Josh Hawley, Republican, I don't know what that is, and Lisa joining Democrats' support. So there were some Republicans that actually joined in because they realized how important these credits are. They're more about what's right for their people and the people of the U.S. and each state than, having a political ally in Trump, right? Like, This is not about, sucking up to Donald Trump. These Republicans care about what their job was really made for, to help and take care of the American people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not kiss up to DJT, Donald J. Trump, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Democrats may talk about helping Americans, but their bill is nothing more than a political messaging exercise that they hope they can use against Republicans next November. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said Thursday. That's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, that's crap.
That honestly, that is serious crap right there. I mean, what is wrong with trying to help people be able to afford one of the most necessary necessities, health insurance?
Mm-hmm. I believe that's an opinion, what was stated, not fact.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would consider it an opinion, but, a lot of these Republicans get really triggered. I mean, some Democrats get triggered too, don't get me wrong, but,
My friend Stephen A., he gets a little triggered at times.
Yeah, he does.
I like it. I like it.
He does. Anyway, a competing bill offered by Republicans sought to let the ACA money expire and instead boost health savings accounts while making changes to the insurance marketplaces. Well, you have to make the changes first. If you want to lower the premiums and cut the premiums in half, first of all, that's going to take away a lot of money available, to pay doctors and stuff. But second of all, you would have to cut the premiums down like in half, and then you'd have to give more than $80 a month in a healthcare savings plan, and then we have to figure out how to pay the rest of that on our own. It would allow adults earning under 700% of the federal poverty level. So basically, now we're going beyond Obamacare, which I believe goes up to 400% of the federal poverty level. Now 700%, which probably is closer to people making $100,000 or less, something like that on average. I'm just guessing, doing the math in my head. To access $1,000 per year in a tax-advantaged health savings account if they're younger than 50, rising to $1,500 per year for those aged 50 to 64. And it would expand the availability of lower-tier bronze and catastrophic Obamacare insurance plans, which have lower premiums and higher out-of-pocket costs. Well, here's the thing. How is giving people $1,000 or $1,500 a year going to lower their health care?
I don't know.
How is that going to be enough? Right? How is that going to be enough? Right now, in Obamacare, for people that are at 100, here in California, it might be a little different in other states, between Medicare, Medicaid, which is Medi-Cal here, or Obamacare, ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Here it's called Covered California. So between 120% and 400% of the federal poverty level, you're looking at Obamacare, and that covers the majority of your premium every month. These premiums are $1,000 to $1,500 a month, right? And so let's just take $1,000 a month premium. Okay,
$12,000 a year.
What's $1,000 per year divided by 12? What's it, about $80? I think is what Chuck Schumer was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're getting $80 a month to offset $1,000 premium. So that means you have to pay $920 a month out of pocket. And then on top of that, you're going to have your co-insurance, your co-pays, and your max out of pocket, which is probably going to be, anywhere from, $1,000 to $10,000 annually. How is this resolving the issue? Did you understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I do. I don't see a resolution.
This health savings account is garbage.
Yeah. It's absolute garbage.
Right? And I think what they're trying to say is that, well, here's the truth of the matter. I think what they're saying is that if you don't, there are some people that hardly ever use insurance, like me. I pay into the system. I haven't used it in decades, right? Very rarely, doctor stuff here and there, and COVID shots and flu shots and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm paying into the system, and I'm making the money, or their money is going to help other people, right? I think what they're trying to do here is say, hey, look, if we give everyone health savings accounts, most people will not use their insurance, or at least at a high level like some people do. That money will go in there, and in 10 years, there's going to be $10,000 there in case you need it for a big emergency. But even then, I mean, what happens in the meantime? I mean, I can kind of understand the idea of the Republicans, but the bottom line is it doesn't tackle the immediate issue. Anything can happen to anyone at any time. So right there, the government is rolling the dice with everyone's life, saying that, okay, well, the majority of people are not going to use really much of any insurance every year. Maybe 5 or 10% will max it out and cost the insurance companies a lot, or max out all of this. So the majority of people are just going to be, collecting money in this health savings account. The idea, I can understand that. But if you're going to give that to every single person that's under 700% of the federal poverty level, you're looking at what, probably half the country? It's probably going to cost them more to do that than continue paying the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And what this does is it basically shifts the money. Like, I think what's happening, people like Trump that have money, all the rich people, they're paying a lot of their tax dollars goes to the subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So they have all the money in the world. They don't have to worry about, where their next meal is going to come from, right? Or having a roof over their head, or staying warm in the winter and cool in the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to take into consideration the people that are not making that amount of money, that can't afford to have health insurance without these subsidies from the government. This is all about shifting money around in a way that makes the rich richer, in my opinion, and then the poor get poorer.
Mm-hmm.
And, my dad, God rest his soul, when he was around, that's what he saw that. He saw that in the new wave of Republicans. Republicans used to never be this way. The new wave of Republicans coming up in the 80s and 90s, it always seems like the Republicans have been about the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. The Democrats have always been about, let's take care of everyone equally.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel the difference is at. What are your thoughts about that?
Would you say that started after Jimmy Carter and at the Reagan administration?
It was already there with the Reagan administration. So I'd say probably starting with the Reagan administration is when you started to see all of this.
Okay, yeah,
because my dad was not a big Reagan fan. Reagan was not a bad guy. He was an actor. My dad goes, oh, he's an actor. He's not the president. He's just acting. Yeah. Well, I mean, Reagan was all right. I wasn't a big fan, but I was younger back then. I didn't understand politics back then at the level I understand them now.
So it's like you just didn't like him because Dad didn't like him?
Well, I mean, my dad would explain to me what I now understand today. It seems like the Republicans, and let me go back to full screen for now. The Republicans are not going to come out and say it, but you have to look at what they do, where they shift federal funding to. Okay. If it's shifting it away from the poor or the people that, are anywhere from 100 to 400% of the federal poverty line. Right now, even up to 700% of the federal poverty line, like they're saying, which is probably around close to 100,000. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, $100,000, especially if you're here in California, is shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it still might be okay in other parts of the country.
I think it's okay if you're a single person, but you cannot live off of that with two.
Absolutely not. And even if you're single out here in the San Francisco Bay Area,
it'll be tight.
$3,000 to $4,000 a month in rent for an apartment and other stuff, it's still going to be tight.
Yeah, unless
and having to pay for insurance out of pocket, how the hell do you afford all that?
Unless you live in a hostel.
I understand, but who wants to live like that?
Nobody.
What were we promised here in America? We were promised the American dream. The American dream is everyone can afford to buy a house, have a car or two, and have health insurance, have an okay life. But what's happened is that the rich have gotten richer, and then the poor have gotten poorer. And then a lot of times the middle class gets stuck with everything.
So like
right?
the middle child.
Right. And then now what you've seen through the Republican side of things that they're passing more so come off because they're going to favor the rich.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to directly or indirectly favor the rich. And that's the problem right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll tell you I know people support Trump out there. Hey, you support whoever you want. We have many friends that support Trump and voted for him. I think once we get this Trump administration out of office, this whole country is going to be fixed. Gavin Newsom, 2028. Gavin Newsom, 2028.
Yeah, let's go, Gavin.
Right. Gavin Newsom, 2028. And I'll tell you, Gavin will fix everything.
Oh, yeah.
He's still young enough. He has the energy, and
and the charisma.
He is dedicated and devoted to helping all Americans. And not even that, he cares about the whole entire world. I've never seen someone like that with the tenacity that our governor here in California, Gavin Newsom, has. He has the tenacity. He cares about doing the right thing.
And he's not afraid to go up against the front runner.
Oh, Trump's afraid of Newsom. Trump may call Gavin Newsom Gavin Newscum, like behind his back or through Truth Social postings. But whenever like Newsom and Trump get in person, hey, how you doing, buddy?
I know, right?
You know why? Because Trump is like I said, Trump is a big troll. He talks shit on the internet and on TV because it gets him attention, right? It's like he's a marketing genius. Your dad even thinks that. When I talked to your dad about this, when we were at Thanksgiving dinner, we both agreed Trump is a marketing genius. Like, remember, you're fired, right?
Yeah.
You're fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he created the phrase practically "you're fired" through The Apprentice, right? On NBC, right?
Yes.
So he acts one way on camera, on mainstream media, and on the internet, right? Whether it's through YouTube, another video platform, or even, on Twitter or his own Truth Social platform where he posts. He acts one way there, but in person, he's like a completely different person. When he hangs out with the people he talks shit about on the internet or on mainstream media, he's like the opposite. Hey, Gavin, how you doing?
Yeah. There was a contestant on The Apprentice. Her name was what was her name? She got into working with the president now, the current president,
Donald Trump.
Yeah, but she started working with him. God, her name is like right at the tip of my tongue.
Was she popular?
Not on the show. She's a bitch. She's a straight up bitch, cold-hearted like Trump. And she has gone on camera. Omarosa is her name. She's gone on camera actually saying that Trump is a different person in person than he is on camera.
Yeah, Omarosa Manigault Newman, who later worked in his White House. A contestant on season 1 of The Apprentice, she became a prominent Trump supporter, worked in his White House, and later wrote a tell-all book, becoming a vocal critic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I've got to read that book.
Yeah.
Or get the audio book. That would be
audio book.
I got to get the audio book and listen to that.
We can listen to it in the car.
So she was on The Apprentice. Mm-hmm. Then she worked in his first administration, right? Okay. From 2016, right? And now she experienced the real Trump experience and now is exposing him. Now is basically talking shit about Trump.
Yeah, she said that he was a different person than he was on TV. She never said he was a good person. She just said, no, he doesn't act the same off screen that he does on screen.
No, because people, like we've said, and so has Chris Cuomo, this is the problem in our country now, especially with social media. People will tune into outrage more than anything. So Trump knows the more outrageous he is, the more people will talk about it and tune in, right?
Yeah.
And I could not live my life that way. I feel it's unethical to pretend to create fake outrage, even as a president, to suck people in, right? And then when you see these people in person, like, look, Trump doesn't meet with Newsom and say, "Oh, hey, Newsom, good to see you, Newsom," right? Right? But see, Newsom could also say, after he meets up with Trump and Trump is nice to him, right? "What happened to Newsom, sir?" You don't see him doing that, right?
No.
But deep inside, Newsom knows this mofo goes out there on social media, calls me Newscum, says that to me, on mainstream media and all that, and then he kisses my ass in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what Newsom has done? Newsom has started to troll Trump on the internet.
Yeah.
This is great. Like, listen, the last thing anyone mature like Newsom wants to do, and same with myself, the last thing I would want to do is troll someone that's trolling me, right? But I'll tell you this, it's brilliant, because the best way to defeat your trolls are to troll them better than they've trolled you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's one thing that I've been doing on our end here. It's like, I troll the trolls, right? They don't even realize I'm trolling them. And the way you troll the trolls is when they talk shit about you and they lie, you talk about it calmly, you correct the record, and then you show your receipts and you show the proof publicly that what these people are saying is completely false. And then what are they going to do? Oh, right?
They falsified those receipts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's all AI.
Yeah, those weren't real videos where I said that years ago that you folks were watching me while I was live. It's the same thing, for Christ's sake, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, that's what it boils down to. Anyway, we've got to wrap this up in about 9 minutes. So let's go through this real quick. A competing bill. I already read that. The bill written by Senator Mike. I can't even read all that. I'm not going to read their names. Along with all Democrats, voted no. It delivers the benefit directly to the patient, not to the insurance company. Throne said, saying it saves money for taxpayers. That is a win-win proposal. Well, here's the thing. You give us these health savings accounts. Yeah, we get the money directly, right? But if we need to use the insurance, it's not enough. It's not enough. $1,000 a year, $1,500 a year when you reach a certain age, I believe is what they were saying. It's not enough money. The Obamacare federal tax credits are anywhere from $500 to like $1,200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody that's maxed out with their credits, that's like $1,200 a month. And I'll just take my handy dandy calculator here, and I'll do $1,200 a month times 12. That's $14,400. Now listen, if you want to give us 15 grand a month, if you want to give every single American 15 grand a month in a health savings account, not a month, a year. You want to give us 15 grand a year in a health savings account? That's great. But how much further would that increase? How many more trillions would that increase our deficit? The way the system is right now is fine. Obamacare is fine. The problem is the health insurance carriers, they need to reduce their premiums. They're making record profits the last 10 years. They need to reduce their premiums. Health insurance carriers should be run more like the majority of the healthcare industry that provides the care, like a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. They are a for-profit. They should be a nonprofit. Health insurance companies should be nonprofit organizations. Then they pay, the people that work there, their executives, they can pay them, a nominal, salary, right?
Is that how it works in Canada?
I don't know how. Canada and most of the rest of the world, they have universal health care.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how that works totally, how it's regulated. I don't know if the insurance carriers there are nonprofit organizations or they're regulated. I can look into that. We can do another show on that. I'm sure other people that that are from Canada and other countries that have universal health care know about that, but I'll look into that. I do not know that. I'm not from Canada, obviously. So, but that's a great question. But we're one of the few countries, if not the only one, I believe, that doesn't have universal health care. And Obamacare has been the closest thing that has allowed all Americans that cannot afford insurance to have insurance, right? It's that middle gap between, Medicaid and, people that can't afford it. That gap is what Obamacare has filled in.
Mm-hmm.
That gap of people now is people making anywhere from $22,000 to $60,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a gap where, it's an okay amount of money. You can live okay off of that, depending where you live, right? But you can't afford insurance without the Obamacare tax credits. And if you're working for a company, yeah, you can get it through your company, but then they're still going to take probably now, I don't even know, it's gone way up. It's probably $100, $200 a paycheck every 2 weeks, probably $400 a month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it is pre-tax dollars. It is pre-tax dollars, but still it adds up through payroll deduction. Anyway, anything else you want to add?
No, hon.
President Donald Trump said he likes the concept of the Crapo-Cassidy bill, but stops short of endorsing it as his preferred measure. He has not offered a plan of his own because he knows it sucks. The truth of the matter is, he knows it sucks. He knows Obamacare is the absolute best thing we have right now for the people that are making $22,000 through $60,000. It's the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
And any other variation that's going to give people the same level of coverage, with affordable monthly premiums is going to cost the same or more. So you got to focus on lowering the premiums of the insurance carriers, the health insurance carriers, and that will solve the problem there. Right? Take some of their profits and have them lower the premiums. I mean,
right?
I mean, come on. Democrats blasted the Republican proposal under the Republican plan. The big idea is essentially to hand people around $80 a month and wish them good luck, Schumer said before the vote, saying the only viable plans to access that money. Well, see, hold on. I got to move the other screen. Forgot to move it there. Here we go. Let's see. The only viable plans to access that money have deductibles of $7,000 or more. So to get to that $80 a month, you're going to pay $7,000 off the top before you even get any health insurance. Right. Yeah. Right. How ridiculous, how stingy, and how mean and cruel to the American people. Well, that's because Trump and the Republicans that wanted, Trump, I guess, didn't want a part of this. Maybe that's what maybe he's just trying to not say he wanted it, to not get scrutiny. But the Republicans in Congress wanted this. And again, they're thinking that most people don't use their insurance each year. So, why give that money to the insurance companies when we could put it in a health savings account? And if you absolutely need to use it, I get the concept. If you absolutely need to use it, but the thing is, once you need to use it, then your insurance is going to be through the roof. You're gonna wipe out all that money just like that and not have a good coverage plan. That's the bottom line. Let's see. Even some Republicans said their plan wasn't enough as it wouldn't address the rising cost of insurance premiums. Yeah. That's what I've been saying. The premiums are $1,000 to $1,500 or even more each month. So if you and I, if we were to go directly to the carriers, we would pay the full price and it would not be subsidized. So that's the problem. The problem is the premiums, the overall premiums, Obamacare or not, federal tax credits or not, government assistance or not, the insurance company premiums are too high because they're not regulated well enough. I think giving people more money to pay for their deductible is a great idea. I think we probably still need to do something on premiums because you can't use the HSAs on premiums, the health savings accounts on premiums. Holly said that's just the law. So, there's probably more to do there. If you can't use them on premiums, how are you going to pay the premiums without subsidies? If you're making $22,000 to $60,000, how are you going to afford to pay the premiums of $1,500 a month, $1,000 a month? You can't.
One of the ways I think they could probably help is by paying all the deductibles of the Americans, and then that way they're not paying that. They're getting the care that they need at affordable prices.
Right. Senator Janine Shaheen said Thursday she wasn't giving up on an ACA funding extension and suggested there may be another opening in January to pass it. Well, then they can all, do the refunds at the other, once that would go through. House Republican leaders have said they hope to hold a vote on a health care bill next week before leaving for the holiday recess, but the party has not yet found a plan that its members will rally around, much less one that can pass the Senate before the end of the year. No vote has been scheduled yet, and some swing district Republicans have signed on to 2 discharge petitions to defy Speaker Mike Johnson and force a vote on extending ACA money. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see, because that MAGA Mike Johnson, that dude, honestly.
We don't like him.
Well, I think there's something cognitively improper about him. Like, cognitively, MAGA Mike Johnson.
He doesn't think before he speaks, so maybe he has just kind of a mental block.
Well, he's a yes man for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Many Republicans in both chambers want the enhanced ACA funds to expire on schedule at the end of this year. Congress is scheduled to leave town at the end of next week for the holidays. All right, so that's that. We got to start wrapping this up. We are at an hour and 31 minutes. Final thoughts, babe. The importance of insurance. Without it, we would be broke.
We would be lost, honestly.
More importantly, like, your health insurance saved your life. Why don't you share about that real quick?
Oh, yeah. If I hadn't had it, I wouldn't be here right now. Between the illness in 2014 and everything I've gone through in the last 3 to 4 years, I would not be here. Like I said earlier, if you have to choose between paying your rent or mortgage or paying for medical insurance that you don't use very often.
Which one are you going to go with? You got to keep a roof over your head.
Exactly.
Right?
Or are you going to pay your water bill or put that money into...
You're going to say, well, I haven't used insurance. I'm probably not going to need it. But what if you get in an accident tomorrow? What if something happens?
What if you have a heart attack?
Right, heart attack.
Stroke.
Seizure.
Right?
I mean, come on. You got to think the unexpected.
You can be stung by a bee and go into anaphylactic shock.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else, baby?
No. Great show, as always.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say this. If you don't have insurance, find a way to get it. Do what you have to do. Do not go without health insurance. Do not go without any insurance. You need to have car insurance, homeowners insurance if you own a home.
Renter's insurance if you don't.
Yeah, renter's insurance if you don't. Renter's insurance is important, okay? You need to have business insurance. You need to have insurance for many aspects of life. But honestly,
life insurance,
that's up to you. That's a good thing to have for some people. For others, they invest their money differently. There are whole life policies and term policies. Whole life policies are used more like an investment type of thing. But some people choose to just invest their money in mutual funds and other stuff like that over a life insurance policy. That's how my father did it. There was no life insurance policy on my father. But I'm not saying life insurance is bad. I've sold it in the past. Life insurance, if you get it when you're younger and your premiums are lower, and you get a whole life policy when you're younger, you're going to start to build more and more money. And once you need it, it's going to be there. Sure. But most people don't think about life insurance at age 20 when they should.
They
or
should.
21, right?
Well, like we said, you can die any day. You don't got to be like 99.
Maybe we can further educate people and get more people to buy life insurance policies in their 20s, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it is important for your family. If you don't have things prepared as far as your funeral services, the way you want to be taken care of after you pass, all of that stuff, you know, it's laid back on the family. Family have to make these decisions. And if they don't got money supporting it, then, you know, shit, they can just throw you out backyard and let the coyotes eat you.
Right. The bottom line is find a way to get insurance. If you have any questions, you can email me, eliasmelas at genuinenetworkingassociation.org. Links will be in the description. In the new year, the emails, the gnanetwork.org email domain is going to be a part of the email system here. And Don will have one, so will I, so will Tia, so will Sandra, so will ODN. And it's going to be a lot easier to type out gnanetwork.org instead of genuinenetworkingassociation.org. So we're getting there, but get insurance. One way or another, get insurance, get health insurance. This is the time to do it. The best thing to do is to actually take care of it before Christmas, because the January 1st is typically when the effective date is for the newer policies. Now, technically, you may have up until the 15th or the 31st in the new year to change your plan, and that's still fine. But if you don't change it before the new year, your other plan is going to kick in. That's going to have to be canceled. And then, if you switch plan, the old one will be canceled. The new one is going to be started. If you can get it done, whatever changes you need made before Christmas Day, before the 24th, do it. That's why we're putting this out this week. With that being said, baby,
yes,
it's time to start wrapping things up. All right, babe. You've been listening to the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. This has been episode number 39, and the topic was get your health insurance in order now for 2026. That's right, one more time. Get your health insurance in order now for 2026. We cannot emphasize that enough, right, baby?
No, cannot.
Okay. All right, so before we get on out of here and right off into the sunset, we'd like to remind you all that if you're listening to us on the audio-only podcast networks such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, my lady's favorite,
iHeartRadio.
One more time.
iHeartRadio.
And third time's always the charm.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. We're also on Amazon's Audible. We're also on YouTube's Music, and we're also on many of the rest of the unknown, not as popular audio-only podcast networks. If you're listening to us audio-only, go to the description of wherever you're listening to us audio-only. About halfway down, you'll see the link to that week's episode in a YouTube video. Click the link. That'll take you back. It'll redirect you back to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. When you go there, subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then go below that description section of that video, a couple lines down, you'll see the link to GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where we go live regularly there. Sometimes Don joins me. Sometimes it's on a Walking with Purpose stream I do regularly, almost daily. Sometimes an in-studio stream that is live but appears kind of like how our podcasts appear, right, babe?
Yeah.
And sometimes we do On the Couch with Don and Eli live streams that are a little more intimate from the couch, or Driving with Purpose. So, subscribe, bang the bell, and select the notifications so you don't miss anything. With that being said,
give us 5 stars, too.
What's that?
Give us 5 stars.
Yeah, 5 stars on Apple. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, baby, be good to each other.